I hope you're having a lovely day today. I wanted to thank you guys for all of your comments and feedback on my 2 videos that I did, the one learning to wear dresses and then the follow-up one of my summer wardrobe of mostly wearing dresses and skirts. The testimonies and kind and encouraging words. It was really neat to read your all's stories along this journey as well. What's worked for you, what hasn't. There's just so many great testimonies in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for your feedback on those videos. So I wanted to do an additional follow-up video to that because the 2 most common questions that were asked were, why do you buy and look for and wear natural fibers? And then the other question was, because I said I get 90% of my wardrobe thrift shopping, they said, where do you get these? Because where we are, it's really expensive. So starting with the natural fibers, I said in those videos, I am constantly looking for natural fibers. So that's cotton, linen, or wool are the main ones that I'm looking for when I am out shopping. I started this journey about 4 years ago. I got convicted about clothing because I had already been on the journey of healthy living, so I already changed all of my cleaning products over to natural cleaning products, homemade cleaning products. Same with food. We eat very healthy, homegrown or organic. We try to source things locally and know who's growing our food, eat grass-fed meats, nutritious meals. That's what we go for. And then I had changed over all my makeup to natural makeup products. And so I feel like as you make this lifestyle adjustment, there's always the next thing that you move to. And so for me, that was paying attention to the clothes that we put on our body, because our skin is our biggest organ and our skin is porous, so it absorbs what gets put on it. And that's why I don't wear fragrance lotions or chemical body products or hair products anymore, is because that just gets absorbed into our body, into our bloodstream. So that also goes with the clothes that we put on our skin, especially if you are out in the sun, because when you're out in the sun, you're hot, sweating, your pores open up, and so even more so, you're absorbing what you are wearing or what is laying on your skin. And so that was about 4 years ago that first I started with our undergarments, switching all of those to organic and obviously natural fibers, but specifically organic. So for both my husband and I, all of our undergarments are all organic cotton. Those items all came from Pact. When we first started ordering from them in 2019, the quality of their products were amazing. Now, I think because they've become way more popular and there's a greater demand, I have noticed that the quality of what they sell isn't as good as what it used to be. And what's great is because organic clothing has been more in demand, there are an abundance of options out there. I will put a link below. I'm not affiliated with any of these places, but there are places that I've looked up before. So I'll put the links below of places that I know that sell organic clothing or undergarments that you can look into. The only kind that I have purchased and used is Pact, and their stuff does last a while, but I have noticed my more recent purchases, they just don't feel as quality as they used to feel. As always with anything that I share, I would always recommend waiting for a sale to come up, especially with Pact. I've never paid full price for anything I've gotten from them. They usually do quarterly pretty big sales, and you can get a 6-pack of underwear for, I think I usually pay $40 for the 6-pack of underwear, I think. And then with bras and such, I've always purchased from Pact, from their selection. They have options that I like. I don't wear any bras with underwire with them because that is really not good for you. So if you can find bras that do not have underwire, and this is obviously, it is a process of changing these things all over, so you can always go slowly with it. All of that to say, I kind of went in a tangent on Pact and undergarments, but I choose natural fibers like cotton and linen and wool because the alternative, which is synthetic fibers, polyester, I usually don't buy rayon or viscose. I think viscose is the one that is like a bamboo type of material, but I think it is still a bit synthetics. So I try to avoid those. Sometimes there's a blend, like a cotton viscose blend, and I really like the shirt, so I'll end up getting it, or I really like the dress, so I end up getting it. But I really try to stick to the 100% natural fibers. With the synthetic materials like polyester, polyester is made of plastic. It is microplastics, and sitting plastic on your skin, BPA, not good stuff, that is getting absorbed right into your skin, right into your bloodstream. It affects your hormones, affects your estrogen levels. If you go down the rabbit trail of looking up what is in these synthetic materials, it is not good for our bodies. It's not good for our skin to absorb. It's not good for our bloodstream to absorb. So if we can avoid those things as much as possible. I think of playing sports growing up and how all sports uniforms are made of polyester, and here you are sweating, working out in the hot sunshine, and you're just absorbing that plastic uniform that you're wearing. I know cotton is not sweat wicking and wouldn't be the most cooling material, but it is an interesting thing to think about. When I'm outside, I like wearing linen because it is so light, air can get through it, it's really a comfortable material for being outside in the sun, and I don't have to worry about any plastics in it. So you can then go a step even further of buying organically grown natural fibers, so making sure it is non-sprayed, non-pesticided spray cotton, because unfortunately cotton is such a huge industry that it does get sprayed with pesticides, and I'm sure that's the same with the flax that's turned into linen. So there are, again, a lot of options out there for organic clothing. Pact has organic clothing on their website, as well as the undergarments. On the note with the undergarments for men, polyester is known to lower men's sperm count. So if you look at your husband's underwear, make sure there's no polyester in there, because that is not good for our husbands' bodies. Make sure it's 100% cotton that they're wearing. These are things that you just slip your radar until you start noticing them and you realize, wow, there is synthetic things all around us that are probably not good for our bodies. And not to cause fear or induce fear, but just what are the things that we can be doing to steward our bodies in the best way that we can. And that's why I've made the decision to try to stick with natural fibers. I do have a few organic clothing items that I have gotten either from Pact, or sometimes I've come across organic clothing at thrift shops with tags still on them, which is amazing. This teal dress that I'm wearing is from Pact. I have some organic shorts from them as well. That would be the ideal thing, is to have a 100% organic wardrobe, but if you look at the price tags of things, it's not completely realistic. You gotta pick and choose your battles, and I do know that, dyed clothing that's not organic is probably not the best for you either, but to do the best you can with the resources that you have, that is what we can do. And that's why I say with going thrift shopping, I look for natural fibers. I hope that makes sense. There's obviously moderation involved. I said in my last video that a lot of fancy dresses or nice dress clothes are made of polyester, and so that just is what it is. That's why I don't go 100% extreme on it, because there are occasions that you need to wear a polyester dress. But for my normal everyday life, I try to stick with natural fibers. So then the next question was, how do I find thrift clothes so inexpensive? Because where some people live, it seems like the prices are outrageous. So first of all, I wanted to say I do not shop at Goodwill. I do not like Goodwill. I do not like what they stand for. I actually read the book The Goodwill Man last year. It is the story of how Goodwill came to be, and the man was a Christian, and he said before he died that he wanted Goodwill to always be a Christian company, to stand for Christian values, because that is the value that he founded it upon. And if you go into a Goodwill today, you would never know that it was founded by a God-fearing man, because they have moved so far away from that biblical foundation that it was created on. And so for that reason, I don't want to give my money to Goodwill, because I think they're a corrupt company. So I don't shop at Goodwill. Where I shop and what I find is the best deals for thrift shopping is finding your local Catholic thrift shop. all of the Catholic thrift shops I've ever been to in any city that I've lived in, if you can find, even if it's 30 minutes, if you're in a city, most cities' thrift shops are always going to be way more expensive than the country thrift shops. So try going in your 30-minute radius outside of the city, or if you're 30 minutes outside of the city, try to go 30 minutes more outside, because that's where you're going to find your thrift shops with the better deals, because people aren't going to pay what they would pay in a city for things. And so with the Catholic thrift shops, usually Catholic thrift shops, they are volunteer based, so the women working in there aren't getting paid to be there, so they're not trying to pay for employees to work there. It is volunteer based, and they are usually, everything that they do is given to charity, so they actually do want to sell their items. That is my number one advice, is look for a Catholic thrift shop near you. And then once you find that place, ask them if they have a Facebook page or if they have certain days that they have sales. In both of the cities that we lived where I thrift shop, Catholic thrift shops always had sales. The one where we are now, they advertise their sales on their Facebook page. The one where we used to live had a whiteboard in front of their shop, and they would usually do sales every Friday, or they would have like Wednesdays were senior discount days. So if you're older than 65, you could get 20% off your order. So ask them if they have certain times of the week or deals that they might have, and you can usually get a further deal on top of the thrifted deal. That's what I found works best for me. And then also thrifting, it just kind of takes time looking around. I do gauge where I thrift by the smell. There are some thrift stores that I've gone into. If they're dirty, I do not stay in there. I think some people can do that. They don't mind that, but bed bugs to me are an issue that I don't want to deal with. And I know that you could have a really clean thrift shop that you could get bed bugs. On that note, what I do with anything and everything that I thrift, it goes into a bag, and on a hot day, I always tie up the bag and I'll leave it in the trunk for a few days, or I will, if it's a clothing item, take it straight to the washing machine and wash it, and then either dry it or hang it outside on the line, leave it outside overnight. I just don't want to deal with any of those things, so I'm pretty intentional with what I do with the clothes that I do bring. I don't just bring them in the house and hang them up on the rack at all. They either go straight in the washing machine or they stay outside for a few days until I can get to them. So that's how I prevent that. And then, like I said, with smells, that's also a concern, because there are some thrift shops that I don't know what they do, but the clothes just reek. And if that smell is too strong, I just don't even bother shopping there. And normally when you walk in, you kind of get hit with it. So in that case, I will not stay. I'll turn around and leave. For some reason, the Catholic thrift shops don't seem to be that way. There is a big chain thrift shop near us. It's locally owned, but they have a whole bunch of locations, and their clothes usually have a smell to it. If it's not too bad, I'll still buy it, and then I will end up washing it like 2 or 3 times, and I'll always hang it outside just to get that aerated, get rid of that smell, because I do not like the smell of regular fragranced laundry detergent. So those are the things that I do to take care of those aspects of thrift shopping. And you would be surprised at how often you find clothes at thrift shops that still have tags on them. So if that is what has prevented you from thrift shopping, is the idea of someone else wearing the clothes that you're buying, you can find brand new clothing items at thrift shops too. You just have to look for it. I recently learned that with wool, I didn't know this, but you could have wool moths, I guess, or moths that come in wool. And so I'm a part of this like natural fibers group, and this woman said that what she does is she either freezes the wool clothing for 24 hours, so puts it in a bag and puts it in her freezer as a way to kill if there's any moths in there, or she will wash it in her washing machine. She said there's a 50-50 with that of it getting ruined, but for her it's worth the risk. I think for me in the future, I will just do the freezer option. So I hope that this answers your questions and is helpful for you. If you have any other questions about this topic, please leave them below and I can do an additional follow-up video. I bless you, I bless the work of your hands and the rest of your day.